ask of an open heart, an open mind, and guts to read, ready to be the change one shall wish to see in the world. I'm done with questions upon my intentions or even questions upon the necessary action for the optimal and sustainable world. My dream is far larger than Martin Luther King Jr.'s, and my mission is far more impactful than both him and Mahatma Gandhi combined. It isn't only my mission, however, for when evil is understood, and life is too, the mission would be clear as day for you too. It matters not how content I am in my personal life when considering the following. I don't want to live in a world where people are used as cattle. I don't want to see satanic worshipping in the darkest of practices, the highest forms of evil and secrecy and manipulation. I don't want to see people deceived into mass external agendas. I don't want to see family businesses non-existent. I don't want to see nature not cared for. I don't want to see agendas being set up for distraction upon the main agenda. I don't want to see every part of nature controlled by man. I don't want to see man in control of man when it's of nature's own role. I don't want to see democide occur time and time again. I don't want to see people being fooled by the game of politics and imposing will upon others and ruling above other human beings. I don't want to see an anti-social world or consumerist materialist cult. The list goes on, and I ask not of the disturbance from humankind in their denaturing artificial demonic creations. We think it's natural. We think we should just go with it. We think all we got to do is change ourselves, but not help educate others so they can do the same. We think obedience is morality. We don't know morality. We don't know ourselves. We believe what our reality as a whole should look like by what someone tells us it should look like, feels like, tastes like, etc. Our nature is being manipulated, denatured, and made artificial and robotic. Nature does not ask us of this. It shall not continue, and it should be clear to any sane person that it shouldn't continue. Being an outcast of the modern world truly teaches you even more about this world, and what matters is that objective state of society. Natural law is important as a universal concept because it helps tell us about so. I look toward a day of no large external threats because no system was there to ever create such. I look toward a day where morality is understood and our lives are lived with universal reason. I look toward a world of abundant natural medicines, abundant creative expressions, family businesses, optimal freedom and peace, no wars to ever identify, no people to ever identify in some special superhuman position, all individuals truly equal by creation and by law, nobody divided for more control, all people needing to love and work with one another, all options available, and the most impactful is truly the most successful, where people have to be responsible for who they are and their own sovereignty under nature, with and for nature, living life as intended, not making money or work life, but rather making life all one big whole to which integration between all of life is more transparent in our own lives. We see the world around us. We are reminded to protect. We are reminded to teach. We are reminded to love. We embrace our spiritual currencies of time and attention. We reap what we sow. We treat others the way we want to be treated, where the energy we emit is what we attract. We are the greater consciousness we never have been before. We embrace a life of health our ancestors worked hard for us to have. We sit in the sun and forget all worries of the world because there is none except that of which we bring upon ourselves ultimately. We let the wind and fresh air blow in our faces, living our lives with a sense of being and purpose and passion, where we are free and we set the limits ourselves based on the amount of work we put in to get out, where innovation soars and no worldly extremes form. This is a world without statism, a world without government, a world of nature. All of this is totally possible, just as the evil manifestation was too. But we ourselves determine the path either for evil or for life, denature or nature. We have all the potential to change the wrongdoings that we ourselves created through mostly our obedience, which is why obedience as statism to the system is the one agenda to counter that actually dismantles all the many evils I mentioned. I have created a universally abiding message as mission as movement to bring us to this beautiful world that is possible for all beings. And yet despite this, we still limit ourselves from our union, our unified efforts to change the world, our simple actions to educate others, our simple ability to listen and learn, our simple ability to express our God-given human nature that is to work with nature. We put our own artificial, short-term, no worldly impact work ahead of what is the greatest of all works, that is, to free humankind, so that we can just simply live our lives and have all the more fun that the mere nature of the existence of government prohibits. It is fun, innovation, education, creativity, love, nature, morality, imagination, and more that are all specifically undermined through the existence of government, which is dependent on the existence of statism. The importance of this is more important than anyone on Earth currently realizes, and the impact, innate potential dependent on you that the movement of Nature's the Answer has is more than anything on Earth has ever or can ever be created to manifest. While one speaks of doing good, or creating reason, or promoting God all they want, the world will never escape evil until nature is the answer, until the movement as message, as mission, is abundantly evident to the world through Nature's the Answer's education of morality and natural law. It's not some one perspective or some opinion of man. It is the underlying governing dynamics of consciousness. Obey the real law and learn it and share it with Nature's the Answer, otherwise we will all suffer with the evil we refuse and cannot understand or even know how to battle it once we do. The master key has been provided, and the lock has been shown. The natural law has been provided, and Nature's the Answer has laid the path, the direction to which I'm showing you, to which I can only be so ever present and transparent and open and detailed in methodology and concern about. You have both the key and the lock. All that's needed is for the key and the lock to be used by you, your human nature, for all the cages of the system. After you have escaped, given the key and lock I've used for you, given my human nature, giving recognition to you from myself that you are free, you are of no cage, you are free. It is such human nature to utilize the lock and key, to ultimately, however, free yourself, as only you can leave the cage, and it is nature to help you become actually free. When you open your mind, your heart, and guts for the open world, open people, and open actions, the great potential and sovereignty you have, that is freedom. It is human nature for nature and nature for human nature, a cycle to which shows our connectedness to life. We shall not lose this, else we fall to evil, and we fail to evil no matter what we do. It's only from the roots to which the system of government is healed, and such system is only healed when it's non-existent. It's a virus itself that needs no existence, for our true system is that of nature, that of earth, and that of ourselves within. The roots to government's existence is statism and immoral evils and confusion and ignorance and control. The roots to changing the world by ridding of statism is education, love, and culture, and positive and multiplicative expression. The roots to nature is connection, harmony, and balance. The roots to human nature, especially of the modern world, is to be able to manage among knowing all those roots, that of government, that of change, and that of nature. The root of nature tells us of all the roots, and therefore no grassroots cause is ever more grassroots than one based in nature, about nature, as is universal timeless truth in for nature. A world of connection, harmony, and balance is a world of optimal life and sustainable life. Such a world is maintained through generational understanding that hierarchy, as slavery, as statism, is immoral and always leads to mass harm and manifested evil. If you want manifested life, nature's the answer. No government, no person, no one idea, only life in nature itself. It is life for life, and such idea is no special or unique idea. It is supposed to be natural. Nature's the answer is nothing new. It is an improvising, a form of creativity based upon what is simply recognizing what is always here, always for us, and that is new of any so-called quote-unquote movement. Nature's the answer contains us. It's created for us, as is nature itself. The only question remains, as it always had, are we working for and therefore with it? If you love, if you care, if you seek to educate, if you seek true freedom, true life as a whole, I share this for you, I made this for you. Will you join the cause to do this by representing nature's the answer, the movement as message as mission? After the world changes in its natural manifestation, you think about how it was possible. What drives me is that nobody sees what they should see, and always can see. Just like how nobody sees what they should do, and always can do. Do we speak in words and concepts that are utmost down to nature? Do we seek education of how based on why, rather than always telling what? Do we focus on prevention at the roots more than treatment of the symptoms? All is your choice. But if you don't make the choice most consciously, fate will soon decide for you destructively. For again, I am not to introduce anything new. I am here to speak upon what is here, what is forgotten, what is lost, and what is all around us, and therefore it is that of a learning process of harmonizing our connection to nature and the recognition of truth throughout. There is no dependency of nature's the answer, only the recognition of what is dependencies in nature, for it is dependencies in man that often cause the problem. You own yourself, but together we all help manifest this world by way of collective conscious or unconscious patterns. Conscious expression is that of love, unconscious is that of fear. There are conscious actions and inactions, to which if it is a conscious world we seek, then in such expression we must therefore be in both. It is to knowing which actions to take and which not, when to say no and when to say yes. Self-evident truths only mean something to us when applied through application of all the heart, mind, and guts connection. Most forget the guts and consist among living their heart and mind, two of which all help guide the guts, but rarely does one have the guts to spring into necessary yet undone action, not driven by instinct or emotion, but rather by that of the human high-order brain that plans and acts ahead, especially in a time such as now, for that of the action for inaction and inaction. The hardest reality to face, up front and foremost, is that the world is currently, objectively by natural law, in a state of evil. The other hardest reality to face is that it is our responsibility to change it by all best means. Sitting back will correlate to lives that could have been saved. In any case of semantics and word usage and debate, one should stick to universal law and first-hand principles, and in understanding there is far great evil in this world where simple little disputes should not bother us. There is an active enemy that we should be fighting, and nature holds it evident to those who are open to understanding it. We are otherwise picking fights with our own fellow human beings, and the enemy is the very force of evil and immorality that inflicts and corrupts human beings, manifested when generally good but misguided people give it credence or allowance among their own peoples. None of us are perfect, but we all can understand universal truth and objective morality, just as we have been conditioned to believe in a multitude of aspects in life and accept it across all of society time and time again, even if false in nature. However, this time, humanity can take power into nature's own conditioning, our intended connection to which intended knowledge, and therefore never to be manipulated and misguided ever again. We all plant seeds for one another. Humanity chooses whether to learn the hard way or the easier way. They choose hard when they go with the flow and let few choose that flow. But humanity would choose the easier way shall they go with the flow of nature, to which only the Creator or nature itself is in control, and we learn directly by its observable laws. Divine or sacred masculine energy action is not of ego. It is that of which actually protects and helps manifest feminine energy values. It is action for and therefore with intuition. Of the modern world, it may come to be that of the troubling mix between worrying and acting. For I may drop my worries and still act, however, instead, out of care and moral obligation. One who does not see the importance to this moral obligation does not understand, and therefore often does not care to understand, the evil and the nature of evil in existence. A great sign of problem is one not knowing their own risks, just alike one not knowing what their actions entail by their nature. One must fight for truth, for nature, and by fight I mean have the courage to do and therefore be. Think about these words, if you must. I truly ask nothing of you, but I know the world may ask you for me. So as nature is the answer is to do, I'm recognizing that feeling you have, as do I, and everyone on earth, and I mean everyone who is under some man-made system. Legends never die. Truth, by recognition, never truly succumbs. Nature is the answer, as a message and mission itself would outlive any political idea. But the actions within would live to a world without politics as a whole, and rather to moral social gatherings and voluntary coexistence. We currently live in a time where people celebrate and praise people they don't know, where people don't even know themselves and feel the need to put themselves down, if not too high, casting shadows upon our true selves, hiding ourselves always in forms of fear and insecurity. Love is present within freedom, as with morality, knowledge, sovereignty, and optimal order. All in nature would then be and work in and always more easily be toward order. Whistleblowers are waiting to come forth. Land is seeking human living. Seas to be explored, businesses to be created, jobs endless, medicines endless, creations endless, celebrities to be freed from their own misery, known bad people to be given the chance for redeeming good upon mentioning universal truths, surrenders made by propagators of evil to that of empowered nature, and crops to be grown. Courage is the main requirement among multiplicative expression, which is also of conversation, responsibility, and guidance, for all that of positive expression. All that holds the system, that be, must cease to exist in actuality for nature. I look toward a day where all peoples are seen as fellow human beings, truly equal by nature, where great work such as this is cherished, and the actions, simple to complex, detail the true worth. We will have made this occur, and we will have shown that it has occurred through the legacy of change as the generational message as mission. The true challenge to this work is facing the reality and living it, and then not being affected by any distractions towards such work. We must go all for truth, for it is the only sure way to save humanity and forever. We want to live lives in peace, so why don't we create it for the future generations ahead? Why not stop wars, end democide, and end all manifested evil? I ask of you no more now. You are to decide, with your free will, shall you choose to use your human nature for nature? If you do, nature is the answer. It is here for you. Let us heal the world as a whole and from its roots, to save the soul and bear the fruits.